Hi everybody. I just thought we'd have a change and have a little chat with all the madness that's going on in the world. We could all do with a bit of light relief. I'm not even going to go there. We're not even mentioning it. This is a sea-free zone. So what I thought I'd talk about today is some of the daft questions that get asked, or not daft, but you know, things that might amuse me, and tell a little bit about myself. So yeah, instead of just seeing my hands on the screen all the time, this is me. Excuse the wig. I've just got out of the shower and I couldn't be bothered straightening it, and I'm just going to leave it dragged through a hedge backwards today. Yeah, so anyway, I'm Catherine, pleased to meet you. I live in the UK, England, not Canada, not Scotland for some bizarre reason. People think I'm Canadian or Scottish. Yes, I do have a funny accent. I don't talk like Mary Poppins. Lancashire, where I live, we do have a little funny dialect of our own. Most people I meet around the UK know I'm from Lancashire because of my dialect. I do try and speak quite slow and deliberate when I'm filming, because if I don't, you probably wouldn't understand a word I was saying. My husband is from Manchester and he struggles. So that's that one out the way. I'm British, I'm from Lancashire. I've got 5 kids. 4 of them have got tails. So we've got 4 cats, 1 son, 1 grandson. I'm retired from civil engineering. So I worked for 25 years in civil engineering, on bridges and sewers and climbing into culverts with breathing apparatus on and all the other sort of things that go with it. I got a bit poorly and I couldn't really do that job anymore, so my hobby became kind of my job. So I worked for a couple of craft companies, quite big ones, designing stamps and stencils. There's quite a few out and about there that I've designed. And then that got a little bit too much because I was doing a lot of craft fairs and, you know, the big things we do at the NEC and stuff like that. And that got a bit much with my health, so I kind of slowed that down a bit. I still do a little bit of designing for people, but not a great deal anymore. So I'm basically a lady of leisure. I've been making all sorts for years. I love to paint. I love crafts in general. I used to, going back quite a few years, I started out down the scrapbooking and card making as a hobby, and that's kind of evolved into what I do now, which is mainly jewellery making, and I use lots of different materials, natural stone and copper and wire wrapping and wood and resin and all different things. Anything I can get my hands on, I'll turn it into a piece of jewellery. Some leather work, a little bit of leather work, not a great deal. And that's how I got into polymer clay, because I was realising how expensive some stones were, which weren't really, you know, they're not fantastic stones, they don't look much, but for a decent sized cabochon, they were really expensive. And I thought, well, if I want to sell these to friends and family and such, then I've spent £30–40 on a stone and the wire. I can't possibly charge them like an extortionate amount of money because it's friends and family. So that's how I got into polymer clay, figuring out how to make my own stone lookalikes, if you like. I'm not too pedantic about it. I just like what I like. So yeah, that's me in a little nutshell. I am married. I'm 50 years old. Let me think, is there anything else that you possibly would need to know about me? No, I can't think of anything. So I'm just going to go through some of the funny questions I get asked. Accent is the main one. I've just addressed that. I'm English, British, I live in Lancashire. Get a lot of comments about my tattoos. Yes, I have a sleeve, it's ongoing, it goes all the way up to here. I have a couple of other tattoos around me. It's not quite finished, I've still got some bits to get filled in here, but obviously with what's going on I've not got back to see my dude. I think I've had about 5 comments, which is weird considering I've only posted 5 videos, so you can imagine. I don't like tattoos. I hate your tattoos. Your tattoos disgust me. So I just find it really funny, because what on earth has me having a tattoo got to do with art, being creative? Not a clue. But if you're going to be really judgy like that, then I don't really want you watching my videos anyway, because you're not the sort of person I would associate myself with. So I'll just put that out there. You know, fine if you want to comment. We're all entitled to our own opinion. But being a bit judgy like that is not nice at all. That's not who I am, and I hope that 99% of you out there, you know, who cares if I've got tattoos or, you know, my hair's pink or green, or it doesn't matter, does it? You know, it's not about that. It's about, you know, being artistic, playing with clay, showing people things that you do. So being really judgy and saying things like that, just, I actually moderate my comments, so they never get posted. I don't give them the airspace, as they say. But what I might start doing, if I get a few more, is let them go through and then put a nice reply so everybody can see. So I might start doing that, so beware if you're being a bit judgy. I'll call you out, because I'm not, you know, I'm thick-skinned, doesn't really matter to me. So that's that one. I got a bit annoyed then, could you tell? Right, egg poachers. How many questions have I had about this beautiful little gadget? Now, these are really common in the UK. Maybe they're not that common in the States, or I think one Spanish lady asked me where I'd got it from. So if you don't know what this is, you basically put it into a pan of boiling water, you crack an egg in it, it cooks the egg, and then you tip the egg out, because obviously it's non-stick. It's an egg poacher, but they're really rubbish. The egg sticks. It doesn't cook in the middle, so it's all snotty and horrible, which I don't like. So I use it as a form, and it's perfect. A lovely little dome shape. I'm sure everybody could get hold of one of these, surely. But yeah, any silicone type of baking stuff, just because if you're like me, you've got a box full at the back of the cupboard that you thought about you would make a special cake and made one, and you've never used it since. Get them out, try them. They're really good for baking in your ovens, and you know, they take a bit of welly with the temperature. Obviously boiling water is 100 degrees, isn't it? So 100 degrees C, that is, guys, not F. Yeah. So it's an egg poacher. That's all it is, an egg poacher. The amount of questions I've had about this cracks me up every time, especially in Spanish, because I've got to then go and find and translate that to find out what they're talking about. And of course, egg poacher or green thing. Green thing? What green thing? And then it dawns on me, egg poacher. So yeah, I get asked that one probably the most. What else? Oh yeah, thumbs down, hilarious. Yesterday I went to just see if I'd had any comments, and every one of my videos had a thumbs down on. Now, it wasn't there 10 minutes before, so one person has gone ding 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 down my videos, which is really funny, because that still gets counted in your watch count. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't like you because of your tattoos or because of your accent or what you're doing is rubbish or whatever, if you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's fine. But thanks for the thumbs down, because it still counts as a tick as to who's seen my videos. So thanks for that. It's really nice of you. And I know who you are, because I've got a program on my PC that shows me which state in America that you're from. So keep doing it. Don't watch the videos, but give it a thumbs down. It makes my analyticals go through the roof. Thank you very much. What else? Aliexpress. I really like it. Loads of people out there hate it, don't they? I'm just going to have a suck in my brew. Nice cup of coffee. Well, bucket of coffee. If you're really careful and you have a look at the reviews and how many items that person sold, you know, if they've sold thousands of them and they've got a good review, then buy it. I've had a lot of my clay things, my rolling pins, my lamp, lots and lots of different things, craft related, I've got from Aliexpress, and yeah, it can take a bit to get here, but in my eyes, my lamp is, I think on Amazon it's £49. You'll have to work that out in, you know, whatever your currency is, but that's a lot of money. £49 is a lot of money, and I can get the same one direct from the manufacturer in China for £9.22 and free postage. I think that's a bit of a no-brainer myself. I mean, there's some things I wouldn't buy, you know, some clothes and things, they're just terrible quality and stuff, aren't they? But I think if you find a good supplier and stick with that supplier, because there's one I like for jewellery, is called Panda Hall, and I get most of my, you know, the rubber cord I use and my stringing materials and my findings. I just go to his shop, order a few when I need some. He always puts me something, or they, I'm assuming it's a he, they always put a little gift in because I do quite a decent order. So yeah, I really like it. You know, Wish, I've never had much luck with Wish. It's always been a bit tapped, or it's not arrived, or whatever, but give it a go and just compare prices, people. You know, there's, I'm not saying there's people out there that take advantage, but there are people out there who are running a business, you know, and granted, they're going to put money on because they've had to import the products and package the products and do what else, but, you know what, 80% markup on something is a bit naughty, if you ask me. So yeah, just give it a go, you know. You might not like it, you might not like waiting 2 weeks for something to come, but if it's going to save you some bucks in the long run that you can then spend on clay from your favourite shop, shop local. I mean, I know in the States you're really lucky with your Michaels and your Joann's and all the other sort of shops you have. We just don't have them over here. We have a Hobbycraft, which is a bit like, I don't know what the name of the shop is. Something Hobby or Hobby something that's in the States. I think it's the same company, but they don't have a lot of clay. They might have a bit of jewellery findings and things. They don't have a lot of clay, and what they do have, the kids have all mauled with, if you know what I mean. They never have a full colour selection in my local one. So I do shop online, and I do use a couple of places to get my clay that are in the UK. So I'm, you know, using a lot of UK companies for a lot of the things I buy. So just give it a go. Even if you just order one thing and you think, oh, well, that worked, Kath, thanks, you know, go for it. Right, what else? product links. The amount of messages I've had on Facebook or a couple on YouTube, not many on YouTube, it tends to be Facebook really, saying, why don't you leave a product link? Well, if I've bought some female clay, it's from a UK shop. So if I leave a link for that shop, like I like using Graffiti Tag is one of the shops I use in the UK, and they always have Primo in, and they do the big blocks and stuff, they're dead good. But that's no use nor ornament if you're French, German, Spanish, American, Australian. And I'm obviously not going to go around and Google every shop in Australia because it might not be the cheapest shop for you. So I always leave in the description the main things I've used. So if you're not too sure what something's called, like that rubber cord, just have a look in the description box. It'll say rubber jewellery cord 3mm. If you copy that, paste it, Google it, you'll find some. So if you don't want to use Aliexpress like I do, then you will find a jewellery store close to you that will have that item, because most of the stuff we use, you know, is pretty global, isn't it? So that's why I don't do product links. I am going to start, if it's something I've got from Aliexpress and I'm really pleased with the quality and stuff, I will leave an Aliexpress link because they're pretty global, aren't they? So if you click on that link, it'll just take you to your version in dollars or, you know, euros or whatever. But other than that, I'm not going to leave product links because it would just, you know, doesn't make sense. It's a waste of my time and a waste of your time. So yeah, just check my description box because I always pop a few things in. What's next on my list? Sanding. Oh, sanding. I hate sanding. I try and make everything as smooth and as neat as possible. One, if I'm going to be putting resin on it, you don't need to polish and buff something to within an inch of its life. Because if you think about polishing a table, if say you wanted to resand your kitchen table, the first thing you do is rough the surface up so that that varnish or coating will stick. So in my opinion, if you polish something to within an inch of its life and then put resin on, why? Why are you doing that? Get the surface lovely. You don't want any marks on it, thumbprints, anything like that. Just get a nice surface on it, and then resin it, and you'll be fine. And if you like sanding, you know, not knocking you, I just find it really boring. I have poorly hands and wrists, so trying to hold on to something little and sand it, and I do it with some things, but I quite like that satin finish, and I do have a Dremel, so I can use my Dremel on some fiddly things. I tend to use it more on my copper jewellery and stuff, because they can be quite fiddly with, especially with the wire wrapping and stuff you can't get in, so I do use my Dremel a bit, but yeah, just make the surface as nice as you can, to the, you know, to the naked eye. If it feels smooth, then it is smooth, and then put your resin on. I think it'll delaminate so that you've got a shiny surface, and then you're putting your resin on top, and it's not going to stick because that's just a shiny surface. I mean, I know it'll molecularly bond to it, but it's not super glue, you know. I think after a bit that's going to start delaminating, personally. So I would just get a nice surface and then resin it. But that's my personal opinion. I'm not a purist. I'm not a polymer clay artist in any way, shape or form. I just like messing around and playing and doing the, you know, doing what we all do. I think that's what with the videos, I'm not necessarily going, oh, hey, subscribe, like, join my Patreon, join this, join that. It's not a business for me or anything. I'm just having a bit of fun and sharing it with you guys. in the hopes that even if you just get one tiny, like, oh my God, that's a really clever thing to do, that Kath. If that's all you get from it, then that's brill. Or if you do like I do with other people, and I get all my bits ready, and I put the video on, and I play along. It's like you're in a little group, isn't it then? And I think that's what it's all about, you know, caring and sharing and having a bit of fun. So, yeah, I haven't got anything else on my list. So if you want me to do another one of these, leave me some questions below. And it can be as bonkers as you want it to be. Something, you know, it doesn't have to be about Claire, we'll just have a giggle. Yeah, so leave me some questions, and I might do another one and answer those questions, because I really like it, face-to-face stuff. It's terrible when all you see all day is my hands, and you don't see like the rest of me. Not that, you know, you probably want to see the rest of me, but especially with my hair today, curly shirly. But yeah, have fun, guys. Be nice having a chat. Have a lovely day, whatever you're doing. I'm off to the hospital for a checkup. They didn't cancel it. I thought they would, but you know, that's fine. It's just a checkup, nothing exciting. And I'll probably post this when I get back, because it's about 9:45 in the morning here. Yeah, so I'm going to finish my coffee, feed the cats, and pop out. Essential travel. And I shall see you all soon with another video. Thanks for dropping by. Have a great day. Bye now.